her back and forth. Every tick feels like it means a war. Try to map it out, try to make it clean, but it slips right through every in-between. Built a plan for I wouldn't break. Watch it bend on every move I take. Every loss just echoes in my head. Every win feels like it's for a threat. And I know this isn't luck, but it never feels enough. I'm holding pieces of a system I don't trust, trying to make it make sense when it won't adjust. Every move I make feels just a step too late. Still I show up every day and take the weight. See the setup forming then dissolve. Every answer brings another problem. Second guess every line I draw. Break my rules just to chase it off. And I know what I should do, but I don't know when it comes through. I'm holding pieces of a system I don't trust, trying to make it make sense when it won't adjust. Every move I make feels just a step too late. Still I show up every day and take the weight. Maybe it's me, maybe it's the game, maybe every loss just looks the same. Maybe the edge is just staying long enough to lose and try again. I'm holding pieces of a system I don't trust, trying to make it make sense when it won't adjust. Every move I make feels just a step too late. Still I show up every day and take the weight.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And why is my moon not on? Come on, turn on, buddy. Let's get that brighter. Oh, hell yeah. Look at that. Look at what technology can pull off. I'm able to turn on my moon from the mere 4 feet away, 5 feet away. That's how we're rocking it. Yes, yes, yes. Your eyes do not deceive you. I am, in fact, wearing my lucky buffalo shirt. Your boy needs to specifically perform well. Today, I'll be explaining why it has to do with like the buffers of my account and payouts and how much I took and how much I didn't take and this, that, and the other thing. But just wanted to let you guys know that, yes, we are, in fact, adding a little bit of luck, a little bit of cosmic, karmic justice onto our side. So we're going to see if we can really rip it today. But yes, 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 your eyes are not lying to you. We do have the lucky buffalo shirt on. Hopefully, it will help us once again. Folks, it is a beautiful Wednesday. Is today Wednesday? Holy crap. I thought it was Tuesday today's Wednesday, the 22nd. Wow, what happened to Tuesday? I don't know if I forgot about Monday or Tuesday, but one of them are completely erased from my memory. I did not know it was Wednesday until this very moment, but I guess happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. Happy April 22nd, whatever today's weird holiday is going to be. But I hope you guys are having a good one. Someone said Rumble is down. Is that true? Are you guys on Rumble having an issue? Someone just said Rumble's down, but chat looks fine. Maybe just give it a reload. I think it's all good. But folks, anyway, it's a Wednesday. We're going to see if we can make some money on this beautiful Wednesday. Obviously, we're not only going to be watching the stock market open, we're going to be talking about earnings. We're going to be doing some live day trading in futures. In Discord, I'll be doing a little bit of options. But really, we're, at least for the morning prep, going to be chit-chatting, if you will, about the extended ceasefire. Now, some people are saying this is a smart strategic military move. Other people are saying Trump has once again tacoed out. Now, depending on which one you believe or don't believe, I don't really care, but is basically setting up the market where we have that potential to be making a new all-time high today. Now, is that going to be a guarantee? God, no. You can't guarantee anything in the market. It's always a game of probabilities. But I would say right now, the probability that the bull camp is in the driver's seat of the market right now is more likely than not. So I'm going to give them more than a 50% probability that the bulls are in control. Now, obviously, because we do live in a headline-driven environment, at any moment, things could pivot. That's why you can never guarantee anything. But based on the current setup, price structure, price momentum, options flow, and the narrative, as in what's happening, I would say the bulls are looking good. So I want to be breaking that down for you. Then we're going to dive into the nitty gritty, like the key levels to be watching, whereas we have some negative gamma, positive gamma. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. I'll be explaining it. We have a little bit of earnings. Earnings gets a little bit more exciting tonight and tomorrow, actually. And then next week, it gets actually crazy. I already had a couple of trades this morning, so I'm going to be breaking down those for you. But I actually have some really, really cool news to share with you guys as well. So I'll be doing that right at market open. Please don't let me forget. But anyway, I appreciate you guys joining me at the butt crack of dawn. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's keep today as a high vibes, good vibes only type of a day. And on that particular note, let me get to doing my job. Stock futures rise after Trump extends ceasefire with Iran. So hang on, in real time, something's popping. What just happened? We're going now. What in tarnation just happened in the past 30? Oh, and all the way back down. You guys cannot see this for some reason. Hang on. Let me move myself over here. So just out of nowhere from 909.30 to 909.32 in 2 seconds, we just ripped from 25 to 75 and then 75 back down to 40. Feels like something just had to get announced. Is anyone seeing any breaking news right here? Is it another True Social update? Something just happened and the bots reacted. It is not on True Social. I just checked that. Let's see. Let's check our favorite news feeds. No, that was 16 minutes ago. So something had to happen right there that we just do. I'm not seeing the update quite yet, but as you could tell, obviously the market went a little bit nutty. It was not True Social. Well, if you guys can see what was announced, feel free to shout it out to me. But we just went up 50 points, down 50 points, and it happened all within 1 minute, which is kind of crazy. So it's going to be one of those days. That's why we're wearing the Lucky Buffalo shirt. So last night, around right after market close, we got this update from Donald J. Trump. Based on the fact that the government of Iran is seriously fractured, not unexpectedly so, and upon the request of Field Marshal and the Prime Minister of Pakistan, we have been asked to hold our attack on the country of Iran until such a time as their leaders and representatives can come up with a unified proposal. I have therefore directed our military to continue the blockade and in all other respects remain ready and able, and will therefore extend the ceasefire until such time as their proposal is submitted and discussions are concluded one way or another. President Donald J. Trump. So this isn't a normal ceasefire extension. This isn't a normal taco situation. This is one of those things where, like, legitimately it's now kind of unbounded. Before they're like, you have a week. No, you have a month. No, you have 2 weeks. You have till Wednesday. And now it's basically saying, I'm tired of tacoing out, so we're going to basically just extend the ceasefire indefinitely until you submit something that I like and I'll approve it anyway. So it's now an even more vague, like I said, unbounded agreement. So just wanted to point that out. Obviously, things responding well. Oil prices whiplash after Trump extends ceasefire with Iran but keeps blockade in place. So looking at the market, the SPY obviously recovering, the Q's recovering, Bitcoin recovering, but oil is up. So now we're kind of in this weird world where Previously, we had an inverse relation between the equities market, the risk on, and oil, especially because oil was the best proxy for how the situation is going. So oil is actually holding at 91, but equities trending up, SPY, Qs, Bitcoin. So risk on is back, but oil is also up. So a little bit of a deviation, which I think is important. All right, so here's a bit more information on the blockade that is currently standing.
For more, let's bring in Bloomberg's Horizons, Middle East and Africa anchor, Jumana Beseshi, live from Dubai for us. Jumana, so you're still seeing the Strait blockaded. Talks have faltered.
Yes.
Yeah, we are seeing an extension of the ceasefire. I mean, it looks increasingly like a protracted conflict. What's the state of play?
Yeah, or protracted ambiguity. And, we spent most of yesterday trying to figure out whether these is...
That right there is a much better explanation of what's going on. A protracted ambiguity where everyone's kind of saying, oh, what in the world is going on? That's where we're at. So as a day trader, as a swing trader, you got to get ready because at any point, we could get random updates. And I hope, fingers crossed, knock on wood, that those random updates benefit your position. But you might really want to be thinking about your stop losses because if it's against you, as we just saw, things can easily pop 50 points. So please tread carefully.
Islamabad talks were actually going to take place. Certainly, there were lots of signs that they were going to happen. The U.S. had the appetite to send a delegation. Preparations were fully underway in the city, but it seems in the very last hours of the day, the talks fell apart, which prompted President Trump to put up that Truth Social post suggesting that they have now agreed to extend the ceasefire indefinitely. Trump saying in that post that they will do so until Iran submits a new proposal and discussions are concluded one way or the other. He says that came at the request of the Pakistani mediators, but then also blamed the collapse on what he cites a seriously fractured leadership structure in Iran, something that we ourselves had been reporting on, and the fact that some more pragmatic voices in Iran perhaps wanted to continue with the negotiations versus the more hardliner approach taken by the IRGC. Now, the semi-official state news agency Tasnim has said that Iran never officially requested an extension of the ceasefire. But the bigger issue...
Did you hear that? How funny is that, as of April 22nd, we're now in this for the better part of, 2 months, that we're still getting this back and forth. So Trump comes out, he's like, I've been asked by Pakistan to do a ceasefire. And out of the goodness of my heart, because Iran is so totally, hugely obliterated, I will be doing a ceasefire. And then apparently whoever's representing Iran, the first thing they say is, just so everyone knows, we didn't ask for a ceasefire. Like, what upside down, tipsy-turvy world do we live in that this is the news we have to try to, figure out and distill into truthful components to make actual trades?
And this is, vis-a-vis a comment that we got from the Iranian foreign minister overnight, is the ongoing closure of the strait, as you just mentioned. And in that Truth Social post, President Trump referenced that they're going to keep the strait closed. The naval blockade is going to stay in place. The Iranian foreign minister overnight posting that blockading Iranian ports is an act of war. And this was one of the major sticking points yesterday. The Iranian side once again saying that so long as the blockade stays in place, they would be less incentivized to go to another round of discussions. So putting it all together, we're not in a state of peace. We're not in a state of war. We are in a state of ceasefire, but the blockade still exists. And it is this ambiguity, I think, that's going to be hanging over the region for the foreseeable future, unless we get a breakthrough somehow, either diplomatically or there's still that question of a potential return to hostilities. It's not out of the question now.
I'm going to need someone who knows a lot more about the U.S. and military and in general concepts to answer this for me. So right there, Joanna Man just said, maybe, just maybe, we return to hostilities. How can we return to hostilities if we're being told time and again by the president that their entire military is destroyed, their leadership is destroyed? It doesn't make sense. These are mutually exclusive things. How on one hand are we being told endlessly that we basically won. There's nothing going on there. There's a little bit of infrastructure. They have no military, no navy, no leadership. They're done so. But then on the other hand, we're getting reports that they're taking down some of our fighter jets and other reports that at any moment they can return to full-fledged conflict. That doesn't make sense. I'm not saying on that particular matter that Trump is a liar. Would never call him that. But he doesn't seem to be telling us the truth about it, because how is Iran taking down our fighter jets if they are decimated, obliterated? I don't understand. Someone needs to explain that concept to me. U.S. and Iran delay talks in high-stake games of chicken. Yes, you heard that right. Trump and Vance, maybe Marco Rubio as a judge, and then the Ayatollah and his dead dad are playing that game in the pool where one guy goes on the other guy's shoulders and you're trying to knock each other off. That's what they're doing. I didn't know in the modern day that that's how you, I guess, figure out who is going to be winning a war. But hey, there we are. Okay. Since that update of the ceasefire, there are more updates from Trump. So just to set the stage for the day, Iran doesn't want the strait closed. They want it open so they can make $500 million a day, which is therefore what they are losing if it is closed. That's some basic business right there. They only say they want it closed because I have it totally blockaded, closed. So they merely want to save face. People approached me 4 days ago saying, sir, Iran wants to open the strait immediately. But if we do that, there can never be a deal with Iran unless we blow up the rest of their country, their leaders included. All right. Not the easiest things to be getting through. Iran is collapsing financially. They want the strait open immediately. Starving for cash, losing $500 million a day. Military and police complaining that they are not getting paid. Once again, right here. Someone made a position, and did news just get announced? Did we just watch some insider trading play out in real time? Is there news? Someone made a huge position just for it to pop again. What news am I missing here? Is it another True Social? So, I don't know what it is specifically, but whatever's playing, nope, it's not True Social. Let me know. The two sides are getting closer to a framework that would include a basic understanding of curbing Iran's enrichment. So MS Now reporter quoting the Wall Street Journal. So that's coming out at 9:15. I'm seeing that. So the timing is not exactly there, but looks like someone made a position just for the news to hit later. Man, I wish I was on the inside. I wish I was on the cool kids club so I could be getting these announcements earlier. But anyway, circling back to this and really circling back to my point before. So wait. You're saying that the military and police are complaining that they're not getting paid, but just weeks ago you were telling us that there is no military, there are no police, and everyone is decimated and destroyed. So what is it? Clearly you can't have it both ways, and I feel like it's making me lose my absolute mind. But hey, that's the day and age we live in. Iran tankers go dark to sail past the U.S. blockade laden with oil. So apparently our blockade doesn't matter anyway. So getting reported by Bloomberg, apparently all you have to do is turn off your lights, and that's how you can beat a U.S. blockade. Yeah, sounds pretty freaking crazy until you realize it's true.
Stephen, get us up to speed on how traders are adjusting to the mixed messaging out of the Middle East.
I think that of all the situations, worst case scenarios that they were planning for today, when today was supposed to end the ceasefire, this is one of the better scenarios, right? The ceasefire is. This
might be why we saw that pop. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard, the IRGC, says it is ready for immediate and decisive confrontation with any enemy's threats and repetition of aggression. Maybe the market loves the fact that they're ready to fight.
Indefinitely extended. The bad news, of course, is that Hormuz, a key conduit for about a fifth of global oil and seaborne gas trade, remains shut, and it's unclear when that will open again. Now, we are around, high 90s, close to $100, but the traders were, looking at maybe 120 plus if the U.S. were to again begin attacks on Iran, like Trump had previously mentioned when the ceasefire would end. There's been a lot of fear that the longer that this conflict continues, while we are in a ceasefire, that they raise the risk that there could be an increase or a revitalization, a restart of attacks across the region, which could hit Saudi Arabia, Qatar's LNG export plant. Any other attacks across the region, like we saw last month, would increase prices and raise the risk that oil production and shipments of fuel from a lot of these countries could be disrupted far longer than even if Hormuz were to open again.
Stephen, there's some talk that Iranian tankers are getting out. They're hugging the Iranian coast, the Pakistani coast. They're getting out into open water. What do we know about this? How much oil is getting out?
There has been some analysis from Vortexa and other groups that are indicating that over, on April 20th, when the blockade was well in effect, 2 shipments of Iranian oil, which would be about 4 million barrels, was able to get through. They were dark, so they weren't signaling their AIS. This isn't a huge amount. There has been really a trickle of shipments, even the ones that have gone dark. It's just a very limited amount of shipments that have gone through, compared to 135 shipments that we saw pre-war levels of all types of ships. I think one thing that should be noted, that while there has been a few ships that have gotten through the blockade, the U.S. has increased their effort to a degree to pressure Iran and Tehran and their ability to ship oil and other products. They boarded an oil tanker for the first time in the last 24 hours off the coast of Sri Lanka. That does indicate that they are taking this somewhat seriously. Whether or not this will be the policy for all shipments and whether they're going to go after these dark vessels as well remains to be seen. But at least boarding that one ship does indicate that they are trying to accelerate their effort to hold back Iranian flows from the region.
Hold back Iranian flows from the region. So just wanting to give you the generic update on this situation. 2 ships attacked in Strait. UK says after US extends ceasefire. Very, very interesting definition of ceasefire. Very quickly, no peace plan, no problem. Why the wartime market keeps rising. Interestingly enough, this article pretty much answered by Bloomberg's article. Markets are forward-looking, but not psychic. Remember, why is the market up when we're still here with tensions with Iran? Well, because the market is a forward-looking mechanism. It looks at the likely probabilities of what will play out. It's not a reflection of a measure of what's going on right now. Remember, the market is looking to where we're about to go. So clearly the market is telling you, okay, right now they think it's more likely than not, the majority has voted that things will be fine. It's not a reflection. The economy is the reflection of what's happening in real time. The stock market is a reflection of what's about to happen in a probabilistic nature. Does the market always get it right? God, no. But it's where just most money is betting that's what's about to happen. So if you're kind of confused a little bit right now of like, why are we near all-time highs? Well, clearly the market is telling you it's time to be risk on, and they think that this is going to basically blow over without blowing up in our faces. Now, could that still happen? Of course. And then you're going to see a sharp reversion and probably a larger sell-off than anticipated because no one was really planning for that. But to answer, this is more of like a philosophical thing. The economy is a reflection of what's happening in real time. The market is a reflection of what's about to happen, with really the majority voting that they think that's the high probability pathway forward. With respect to major macroeconomic events today, there's nothing really scheduled, but at 10:30, there is going to be crude oil inventories. Don't forget that we are in earnings season. After the market closes today, we're hearing from Tesla, IBM, Lam Research, and Southwest. Tomorrow, Intel, Friday, P&G, and then from there, we're going to have a big fun time next week when we have the high majority of the S&P 500 huge tech plays all reporting. SpaceX secures an option to buy AI startup Cursor for $60 billion. After acquiring xAI, the rocket company says close work is coding partnership that could lead to a combination. So SpaceX, not public yet, but I'm personally very, very excited for it. SpaceX says it can buy Cursor later this year for $60 billion or pay $10 billion for our work together. So it's not necessarily a done deal. It feels like it's going to be a done deal, but just wanted to let you know that the SpaceX IPO legitimately is buffing up. So just wanted to let you know about that. Also in the world of AI, Trump says the U.S. will get along with Anthropic after Pentagon spat. So a lot of people thought Claude and Anthropic was going to go to... Jesus. You would think that I'm a professional. You think... Come here. What are we doing? What are we doing? She just likes to trade. She's stoked that we're trading with our Lucky Buffalo shirt. A lot of people thought Anthropic, aka Claude, was going to get completely torpedoed after it seemingly was going to be losing its government contracts and not be allowed to be used by the government. But it seems like Trump is saying, not so fast. So something to pay attention to there, obviously, in the world of AI. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter, macros.locals.com. It's 100% free. It's always been free, always will be free. You don't need a coupon code or anything like that. Piper, we are working. Come on. We're working, sister. My mod will put it in chat. Like I said, it's always been free, always will be free. You don't need a coupon code. Just get onto Locals. I break down what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events. And then for my active traders, the most useful part is probably the seasonality. And that's where we have a little bit of good news. Historically, over the past 27 years worth of information, this day does slightly favor the bulls. Over the past better part of 3 decades, the bulls have won this day 61% of the time. So a nice 11% edge. When they win it, it's with decent size, a nice profit factor of 1.3. So the bias, it's not full on bullish, but it is leaning bullish. Just so you know, tomorrow is also leaning bullish, and then Friday is a bit more neutral. We're going to be coming back to this Tillis thing, and we're going to be coming back to Kohrs. I see a lot of people asking about Kohrs, what's going on in Kohrs, and it's for good reason. This stock has gone from 100 to 768. What is happening? It's a very unique short squeeze. Inherently, when you boil down all of the major components of what's happening, by definition, it is a short squeeze, but it is not your run-of-the-mill short squeeze. There's some interesting market structure mechanics going on that is prompting it. So just to let you guys know, I am not in it. I am not long. I am not short. I do not have a Kohrs position whatsoever, but I'm more than happy to cover it because I assume many of you guys are paying attention to it. It is up a shitload, 100 to 800. So I just want to be very clear. I have no position. I am not long. I am not short. I don't have calls. I don't have puts. But obviously, in terms of streaming, I'm probably the one person in the world, the one streamer in the world who has the most knowledge and the most experience with full-on short squeezes. So I'm more than happy to break down structurally, mechanically, and also from the narrative of what's actually happening. So we're going to be doing that right after market open. But once again, Avis Budget Group, CAR is the ticker, is clearly in the middle of a full-fledged short squeeze. It's a very interesting one. But basically the shorts are getting their asses handed to them, like just getting completely murked there. So let me actually, just for those of you who might be a little bit interested, CAR, come on, Avis Budget Group. And then if you look at the shorts, right there, getting blown out, 94% short interest, cost to borrow very low, utilization maxed out. They are... how much money is it? Short interest value, 6.84 billion. It is literally just getting blown to smithereens. Dingity ding ding ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, best of luck. Remember, folks, you can't take it when you're with you go. Car short squeeze explained. All right. We're going to get that. I see a lot of you. I'm not ignoring you. Trust me. We will go over it. In fact, this is the type of like nerdy financial stuff that I really like to break down and go over with you. So I'll put it up right there. It's trading at 790. Not long ago, it was at 100. I just gave you the short interest numbers, 94%. Just they're getting their asses handed them. And it's one of these things where people kind of realize that there was a heavy short position, and based on how this is all playing out, they are by many definitions completely trapped, so they can't do anything about it. And you can see right there, it is now ballooned to a bet of 6.8 billion, and it's 6.8 billion going against them. So it's absolutely brutal. Now, if you are playing Kohrs, I don't want to hurt your feelings. When stocks squeeze, they do not stay at this value. Eventually, Kohrs is going to come screaming back down. That is not me saying I'm bearish on Kohrs. That's me just telling you how short squeezes, this is how they play out. Gravity wins out. But that doesn't mean it can't keep going. I mean, for all I know, this thing could go to 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. Yes, it can keep going. So that doesn't mean you want to arbitrarily get out of your long position. That doesn't mean you want to arbitrarily go short, because just because I'm saying it's going to come back down, that's no commentary of what's going to happen in the meantime. But I'm telling you, folks, I've lived through GameStop. I've lived through AMC. I've lived through SPRT. I've lived through CE. I've lived through Doge and Shiba. I've been through this a million times. Gravity wins out. Fundamentals win out. This will eventually come cratering back down. I promise you that. But the question is just when. There is nothing in the meantime that can't stop this going from much higher, because there's a lot of people who are currently feeling a lot of pain. So I want to be very, very clear. Is this an investment? Should you be investing in Avis Budget Group at $804? No, this is not an investment, especially not at these levels. But it can clearly be a phenomenal, amazing, excellent trade, because you are seeing a full-fledged short squeeze. I want to be clear. Just because you see something squeezing, that doesn't make it an investment. I see a lot of retail traders especially conflating a good trade with a good investment. Those are a lot of the times two completely separate things. This is a phenomenal trade. The volatility, the movement, that is proof that it's a phenomenal trade. That doesn't make it an investment. If you fast forward enough time, this will come cratering back down. You just have to be patient enough. But that does not mean in the in-between, in the interim, that this can't keep ripping and ripping and ripping. So if you are choosing to be long on this, if you're already riding it, obviously, if you're already up good money, get your stop to break even. Take all risk off the table. If you're up a lot of money, you're going to probably want to use something like a trailing stop and somehow just track the trend and stay in the trend, however you want to define that, as long as you can. But if you're up money at this point, there's no point in risking somehow going down. Make the worst case scenario just you being break even. That was the people who made the most money in AMC and GME and all that. That's exactly what they did. They did not have price targets. They just followed the trend as long as they could. They used reasonable risk management, getting your stop to break even, using a trailing stop. And then from there, when it started to break down, okay, it eventually got hit and they were able to lock in their gains. Nothing is different about this situation. If you somehow fortunately got long anywhere in here, yeah, ride the trend as long as you can, but don't get married to the trade. It is a trade. It is not an investment. I cannot be more clear about that. It's the exact same thing as AMC and GME. It's a great active trade, not an investment. I'm going to be screaming it from the mountaintops, but that's what you have to be paying attention to. That is how you will win this situation. I will be coming back to it. For those of you who are curious, the short interest is 94%. Cost to borrow is very low, and the utilization is maxed out. But don't forget that they can do some daisy chaining. It's called rehypothecation, and that's how your short interest can go above 100%. You might be thinking, Matt, it's at 94. That means it only has 6% to go. The way the market structure works, and it's referred to as daisy chaining, the actual term is called rehypothecation. Short interest can easily exceed 100%. How does that happen? Well, think about mechanically what a short is. For you to take a short, you have to borrow shares from someone. You borrow the shares from them, and then to create the position, you sell. You sell, and then to close it out, you have to buy back. Well, when you sell those shares, now there's a new owner. That new owner can loan out those shares again, and then that person, obviously the new one, could then loan theirs out, and then you could create another short. So you end up daisy chaining it together. Once again, if you want to look up a bit more, it is called rehypothecation, but basically it's the same grouping of shares. They go out on loan, they go short, the new owner has them, they loan them out, they go short, obviously the new owner, and like you could just keep doing that time and time again. So that is how you can have more than a 100% short interest. Once again, if you want to look it up, the term is called rehypothecation. But basically, I guess in layman's terms, it's the recycling of shares over and over and over again. You're saying we still have to buy time in the short term? I wouldn't at this point. If you're not in early, what are you doing? It's just the risk reward isn't there for me, but that's because I'm already making enough money on the NASDAQ right now that I don't need to be like overly greedy. I'm not like necessarily like fiending for a position right now, but that's just how I see it. I don't want to get in your way of having fun. If you think this is a great risk reward setup and you want to be a part of history, you want to be a part of the story, I wish you the best of luck. I truly hope you crush it. I'm not rooting against you by any means. I'm just saying the people who make the most money in these types of situations, they're active traders. They're not investors. We saw it time and time again. We saw it with GameStop. We saw it with AMC. The people who are still crying and just showing their massive lack of knowledge of the market are the people who are still focused on AMC. They're still focused on GME, and they're trying to yell at you that it's a strong fundamental play. It's not. They miss out on the trade, or they're still bag holding on the trade, and they don't realize that the market has moved on without them. The shrewd players a long time ago played GameStop. Then they pivoted to AMC. Then they pivoted to SPRT, and then Doge, and then Shiba. That's what good active traders were doing. They were actively trading. They didn't get into a trade and then say, all right, I bought it, and now I just need to buy more, and it's going to be an investment. It's just incredibly silly. And the proof is right here. The people who are still very stupidly bag holding AMC missed out on this opportunity. They're missing out on a whole plethora of opportunities because they're stuck. All their capital is stuck in a different one. You have to know in your mind, are you an active trader or are you an investor? If you're an investor, pick high quality blue chip stocks, invest on dips, and come back in 20 to 30 years. As a trader, well, you got to be on your toes. You can make a lot of money doing both, but it's two completely different sports, and they just seem similar because they're played on the same field. They're played within the stock market, but they literally could not be more different. They honestly could not be more different. So anyway, I will be, after the market open, we're going to come back, and I kind of want to get into like the nerdy explanation of what's actually happening with Kohrs. So I want to put that out there. But in the meantime, I also want to get some of my trades in. Just so you know, I did do a little bit of trading already today. As you can see, I made about 25 points. I got knocked out. At one point, I was up $1,000, so I made $500 per account. So pretty stoked about that. I am not trading on Legends anymore because I hit my goal. All I had to do was $200 a day. I just wanted to show you guys proof that I actually made my $200. So I'm actually going to disconnect that so I don't make silly order mistakes like I did yesterday. So just wanted to show you I did make money on Legends. I still have those accounts. As you can notice, the account values are pretty different this morning, and that's because I got some payouts. I took payouts on all four of my Take Profit Pros, so those got reset to one, or like not reset, but I brought them down to the 154.5, which is how much buffer you have to keep. So I got a nice $3,220 payout from Take Profit yesterday. On Tradeify, you're going to notice those accounts are down by $5,000. That's because I got a $5,000 payout per one. So $25K payout, $22.5K after the split. And then on FFN, no payout there. That's why those are my biggest ones at 180. And then on Lucid, no payout there, but I did get a bonus because I've been trading well. So those ones are at their highest value, but I did get a sick bonus, which is actually kind of the first thing I wanted to tell you about. I was supposed to bring this up at market open, but folks, your boy broke a record. Yes, you heard that right. In the world of streaming, Piper and I together broke a record. To the best of my knowledge, I'm the first streamer to max out the Trading Lucid Live bonus. There's a special bonus you can get if you are trading very well, basically maxing out your buffer
on your live accounts. And that's exactly what I did. So I got a 4.5K bonus. This is not a bonus that goes into your trading account. It goes directly into your bank account. I have 5 150K accounts. So that's the max you can do, 4.5K. And that's exactly how I got my $22.5 thousand. Like I said, record paying. This record broken, this money is already in my bank account. I am the first streamer to do it. I highly doubt I'm the first person to do it. But obviously, shout out to Lucid. Shout out to AJ, who's the CEO. They are now 1 year into business. And I have to admit, seeing that 22.5K hit my bank account as early as this morning, absolutely awesome. If you want to take advantage of Lucid, I love the Flex account. You can get 40% off with that code Goonie, Goonie, if you want to trade like me. And the ones that I like are right here. I like the Lucid, Flex, and then I do the blue pill ones. So they have Pro, Flex, and Direct. My favorite ones are the 150K right here. And then later when you pass the eval, you go red pill, blue pill. I like the blue pill ones. Those are the accounts that I use, that then I was able to upgrade to live, and then I did well on live, and that's exactly how I got this payout. But shout out to Lucid, pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video, having a very good experience with them. Here are my 5 live accounts, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. They're all up about 5.2K, and then on top of that, not counting those numbers, I got the additional 22.5 thousand hitting my bank account as early as this morning. This is Lucid. They don't have the red pill, blue pill. My bad. I'm getting confused by the Flex. I like the Lucid Flex, and then on Tradeify, it's called Tradeify Flex, and that's the blue pill one. So basically, whenever you see Flex, that's the one I like. My apologies. My favorite account at Lucid is the Lucid Flex. There's no option from there. It's just the Flex. Your other options are Lucid Pro, Lucid Direct. My apologies. I like the Lucid Flex. You're not going to have the pill option. The pill option is Tradeify, and the pill option there is Tradeify Flex. So basically, on Tradeify or Lucid, code Goonie is going to work on both. I like the Flex accounts. That's what I'm trying to get through to you, is I very much like the 2 Flex accounts. Right now, Lucid, 40% off with that code Goonie. And if you crush it, not only do you get the payouts in SIM funded, you get the payouts in live. And then if you do well in live, on top of all that, you could also get live bonus payouts. So just want to let you know, I know in this day and age when everyone is competing for your attention, and you might be thinking, hey, just because they have a following, just because they have a stream, are they real? Are they not real? Are they just a marketing genius? Or are they an actual trader? I just wanted to not only give you guys a little bit of a humble brag, but I do think it is important for me to be very, very clear. If you are here enjoying this content, you are here enjoying the content of an actual profitable trader. There are many people who have pretty large followings who are nothing more than marketers. You need to be careful with that. A lot of people just put stuff out, but then all of a sudden they might talk a big game and then there's nothing to follow. They're blowing out accounts. They're always refunding. They're trying to rip off other people's challenges. It's all a game of marketing. They just need you to be talking about them, and then they pray that you're using their code to pay off their losses. But if you are here watching, I basically just want to be transparent and let you know that not only are you watching a profitable trader, but you're actually watching a record-breaking profitable trader. And not to let the cat out of the bag, but coming out soon, you're actually going to realize that I broke even more records. Just broke a record on Legends trading. I'll let you guys know about that in the upcoming days. I don't think I've broken any records with TPT. Ideally, I'll be, hopefully, I find out about Apex soon enough. But if that goes through, the $1 million payout, that is also record breaking. So we're just stacking up records here. We are very much stacking up records. Okay, on that note,
order filled.
All right. I like this trade.
Order submitted.
I like this trade. Stop's already in. I already had, as you can see, some trades today. That's why I already have a realized P&L of $500. That's 25 points on NQ. If you don't know what you're looking at on screen, this is me trading the futures market. So the way you have the stock market, the crypto market, the options market, the futures market is another market. Similar to options, it is highly levered. So a little bit of a movement can make you a lot of money. Obviously, that is a double-edged sword. That means if you have a bad movement, especially at size, you can very quickly be losing a lot of money. So
Just want to let you guys know I am trading the NASDAQ. So equivalent to NDX as an index, equivalent to QQQ as an ETF. The NASDAQ, this is going to have highly correlated movement. Like it's going to be the exact same as QQQ, as NDX. I just happen to be trading it on the futures market. And every point it goes, as it goes from 70 to 71, that is not $1, that is $20. Like I said, it is highly, highly levered. Every single point up or down is not the movement of $1 US, it is the movement of $20 US. So if this goes 100 points in my favor, which is roughly equivalent to about $2.50 on the Qs, that's $2,000, just to be very, very clear. AJ from Lucid is out here for traders. Saw his live yesterday. Great guy. I've had no personal discussion or connection to him, but from what I've seen on social media, he seems to be pretty cool dude. So I'm definitely here in support based on everything that I know. Do I want to go break even? Do I want to make my life easy today? Maybe not quite yet. Maybe on the break of 85. On the break of 85, what is the current ATR, average true range? No, 12 times 2, 24, 90. Okay, so somewhere between 85 and 90, probably closer to 90. I was looking at 85 because of this recent high over here at 930. I'm really not risking that much. I'm comfortable with my risk. I'm basically risking the house's money on this trade. We'll see how it goes. But I am, if this doesn't get knocked out, which it might be ripping back down to VWAP here. It might be ripping back. I might get tagged on this. It's getting real close. I think coming for me. If I wanted to, I could have moved it down to 29, but based on that, it feels like I could just get another fill right there if I so chose. So like I said, I knew I was risking the house's money on that one. It was kind of a freebie play. I just didn't so early in the day want to spiral and do one of those things where I'm like, oh, I'm going to give it a little bit more room. Oh, I'm going to give it a little bit more room. Right there, I got out at 40. It feels like it's coming, and then that would have been giving up an extra 10 points. So remember, most of active trading is a 50-50 game. You're going to be right half the time, wrong half the time. Just because you take a losing trade does not mean you're a bad trader. You're a bad trader if you have poor risk management. That is where you will be losing. That's where the pain is. The best traders in the world have a hit rate around 50%. So to assume, especially as potentially a newer trader, that you're going to be anything different, somehow winning a lot more than the best people in the world, I think you might have to readjust what you think trading actually is. All right, something on True Social right here. A newer True Social post. Oh, that's the Supreme Court. Don't care about that. We're right at VWAP. Is this a worthwhile shot? A little double bottom right there. 25. I'll take a shot at it just in case. Tight stop on this one. Basically, it's saying I think buyers will come in at this VWAP. Once again, it's a 50-50 game. Well, what's this stop? 20. I will give it those extra 4 points. This is, once again, it's a 50-50 game. This, with respect to order flow, this is just a key area. And it's basically saying, hey, I think buyers will step in here. I have a 50-50 shot. When you have a 50-50 shot, well, the 50-50 shot is not playing out for me. What S&P 500 flow is taking a little bit of a hit. Yeah, should I just close this one out? Come on, bounce back. It's just a key area. That's all the game is. It's just saying, hey, that's a key zone. Maybe we bounce. Maybe buyers step in. Half the time they do. Half the time they don't. The idea is keep your risk small. So if you're wrong, it's a small hit. If you're right, you get to ride it as long as you possibly can. So I am obviously looking for us to recapture, and it doesn't look like it will. It looks like we're getting sold at this. So a little bit more aggression. Unfortunately, there are buyers at 20. I might have to give this a little bit. I can see on Bookmap right here, there's a wall of buyers at 20. So I'm just trying to give that 1 second to see how that plays out. Wall of buyers at 20. That's what I'm drilled into. And and we took those guys out. And I'm going to get a fill. Like I said, I don't want to let any of these losses get away from me, as in like spiral. I'm just trying to give it like realistic shots at key areas. If I can get it right from the key area, awesome. What I don't like about this is it could easily bounce off of 800 easily. But really what I'm watching is just VWAP right here. And actually, speaking of that, we should get up the other VWAP. VWAP at 46. So hopefully it doesn't get rejected here. Hopefully it doesn't get rejected here. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's always risk management. Is there a reason why you prefer tick charts? I'm not trading off of tick charts, to be completely honest with you. I'm doing it because it's better for stream. Obviously, I know I'm vying for everyone's attention. And if you're looking at something like the 10-minute chart, it's rarely updating. If you're looking at something like the 5-minute chart, it's still rarely updating. So I go to the 100 tick chart just because a lot of stuff is happening, and it's kind of better for stream. It just looks better. It gives something to talk about, something to pay attention to. But I don't trade on something this small. There's too much from the world of math. It's referred to as noise. There's too much noise on this time frame. So this is not what I'm using to trade. I'm literally using it for stream because it looks better. I guess I do look at the 1 minute once in a while for a refined entry, but for day trading, the timeframes I care about the most are the 5, 10, and the 30. And then I will also peek at the hour and the 4 hour, just to let you guys know the timeframes that like kind of come into my personal opinions and whatnot on this matter. So for actual day trading, the 5, the 10, the 30, and then I still do get a general idea of where we're at on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. But anything below that, the 100 tick, the 500 tick, it's more for stream. What chart is this? This is of the NASDAQ on the futures market, but it's the exact same as QQQ. It's the exact same as NDX. So it's the NASDAQ. So it's moving the same. It's the same overall movement as this right here, the NASDAQ QQQ, which is obviously going to be very highly correlated to SPY. Looks like Kohrs taking a hit. Look at that. It's gone from 847 down to 746. This thing has crazy movement. Crazy movement. All right, 40. So I took on 30 points of total risk at the most extreme. All right, I should probably move this up a little bit. Remember, it's a game of risk management. I took a shot here. It didn't work. I got out. I admitted I was wrong. It reset. I explained the trade in real time to all of you. I got in again. Why did I get in again? Because I understand not only how to read order flow, but I also understand how to read options flow. SPX picking up. Mag 7 started a bottom, showing a little bit of life. NASDAQ, same thing. I'm seeing a bottoming formation at 952. Is it an actual bottom? I have no idea. I can just see the new trend. Of course, this might be a lower high and it could get clipped at any moment, or this is actually the low and people decide to really jack up SPX because I think today we have a real shot of seeing a new all-time high. The all-time high is 7147. Set an alert, do whatever you need to, but SPX all-time high, we hit it on Friday, April the 17th, was 7147.52. I think that is very much in play today. Obviously, I'm looking for the market to break out above 120. You might be thinking, why 120? Well, it's a very close, very evident positive gamma node. So that's the resistance. And then from there, I'm looking for the push to the right below the all-time high. So, reading options flow, it's not the most bullish we've ever seen, but it's more bullish than it is bearish. And then right here, here's the NASDAQ. It was a bit bearish, but it's starting to show some life as we're getting to the 10 a.m. hour. Looking at momentum, 5-minute is bullish, 10-minute is bullish, 30-minute is bullish. Matt, what do you mean by momentum is bullish? Price is above the 50 EMA on the 5, the 10, the 30, and the 4 hour. Looking at the NASDAQ, same thing. It is bullish, 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 bullish. Price is above the 50 EMA on the 5, the 10, and the 30. So I see positive price momentum. I see more bullish options flow than I do see bearish options flow. Of course, this situation is dynamic. It can change itself whenever it wants. No 10 a.m. reversal. How would I know it's not 10 a.m.? It's something to consider yourself, like concern yourself with. Like, yeah, we could easily have a reversal at 10 a.m. But right now, in all reality, we're kind of consolidating. There's no trend. So you're saying a reversal, but which way are we trending that it would even be reversing? A lot of people play this concept of a 10 a.m. reversal when the opening 30 minutes is a big jump or a big drop. So you're saying a 10 a.m. reversal, and I'm seeing no trend right now. No evident trend. I would say, once again, it does favor the bulls a bit more than the bears. But I have sat here many, many times with you all, and we have seen this concept of a 10 a.m. Reversal. But that doesn't mean we've seen it every single day. Remember, there's still, I don't know, variance to this game. Like, nothing's really ever going to be guaranteed here. So just because you've seen something in the past doesn't mean you're going to see it again. And based on price structure, there are many things I concern myself with when I'm making a trade. Price structure is one of them. Price momentum is one. Order flow is one. Options flow is one. Those are the major things I'm going to be looking into. Obviously, I pay attention to, well, this one's about maybe. With respect to price structure, we're not going anywhere. We're not really making, we're definitely not making highs, and we have equal lows. So price structure is saying no trend at the moment. Got my $500, I'm out. Dank, sometimes that's the best thing to do, is get your money, get in, get out, and move on with your life. But I'm looking for the session VWAP and the regular trading VWAP to hold. If you don't know what VWAP is, it is the volume weighted average price. So feel free to look it up, VWAP, volume weighted average price. And it's literally just based on all of the trades, the size of the trade and the price of the trade, you can average it out. And that's how you get it. And why there's two different ones, because it's just basically a different starting point. Are you starting it at session, which is 6 p.m. for the futures, or are you starting it at regular trading hours, which is 9:30? Obviously, I'm speaking in New York time. So that's why there's two different VWAPs, and you could have even more. You could have some that start at midnight. You can have some that start at 10 a.m. You could have some that start from the high of the day. You could have some that start from the low of the day. You can have an infinite amount of VWAPs, because the only difference in VWAP is at what time did you start it? Did you start it at the start of the week, the start of the day, the start of the month, the start of the quarter, the start of the year? Those are all different VWAPs. So because you can fracture time, you can stratify time as much as you want, you can literally have an infinite amount of VWAPs. The most popular ones are definitely regular trading hours and the start of the session. A lot of people also look at the start of the week, I guess. Those are probably the most popular. The most popular is just the start of the session. But there's literally an infinite amount. So that's why there's two there. The other thing on my screen are just EMAs. I use the 10, 20, and 50. That's one of the most common questions I get. Matt, please tell me, what EMAs do you use? Folks, changing your EMA from the 10 to the 12, from the 48 to the 50, from the 20 to the 21, that's not the difference between you being a profitable trader or not. There's no one particular EMA length or one particular time frame that in my book is the end all be all. The game of trading is putting various puzzle pieces together. I use multiple indicators, I use multiple time frames, I use multiple VWAPs, I use multiple options flows. It's reading the vibes of many different things and putting those all together. Are you trading on Quant Tower? No, I'm trading on NinjaTrader. What you see on the screen right now is NinjaTrader. I've never used Quant Trader. I've heard of it. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I've never used it. Okay. If we 80, if we hit 80, the second this says 80, I need to make this a free trade. If you are new to the show, or if you're a returning viewer, I'm about to remind you, in my humble opinion, the best way to trade. Boom. Free trade.
Attention on the casino floor. Free trade alert. Once again, all beautiful participants in the world's largest casino, we are hitting you with an official free trade alert.
I love it when the Buffalo shirt works. Folks, if you are not making money in this market, maybe it's not because of your trading. Maybe it's because you don't have a lucky Buffalo shirt. There's a lot of aspect of luck in this game. There's a lot of statistical variance. So if you want to get the market gods, if you want to get karma on your side, you need to get as lucky as possible. If you don't have a Lucky Buffalo shirt, get one today. If you don't have a lucky pair of underwear, get one today. If you don't have a lucky rabbit's foot, horseshoe, four-leaf clover, folks, get yourself a lucky cat. Do you know how much luck this cat has? This cat hops up on my shoulder, boom, market breaks out. What other proof can I possibly hit you folks with? What other evidence could I possibly give you guys in real time? Cat jumps up, market breaks out of 900. What other information do you need, folks? Get yourself a lucky cat. Go to your local animal shelter today and adopt that cat that just screams and oozes luck. That's the only way you're going to make it in this game. It's not VWAP. It's not EMAs. It's not reading options flow. Those things help. They make you sound maybe interesting. They make you sound like maybe you know what you're talking about. I don't know. Gives you something to talk about on stream. Gives you something to talk about with your wife of how you lost all your money. But at the end of the day, to do this, if you want to do what I can do, you got to go get yourself a lucky cat. Lucky cat, lucky shirt, lucky four-leaf clover. That is where it is at. That is clearly where it's at. All right. Speaking of which, I do need, similar to yesterday where I need to manage my accounts slightly differently from each other, I need to do that again today. I guess I was a little bit early because I forgot that I had that losing trade after having the winning trade. But on let me check. Okay. The first ones I'm going to have to potentially manage separately are the 7 PVs because I just need to make 1750. There's no advantage for me today to make above 1750 because that's all I need to get my next payout of $10,000 from them. 8K after the profit split. They have an 80-20 profit split. So on the 7 PVs, the ones I'm basically halfway there. I'm a little bit more than halfway. Well, it's going the other way now. Obviously, we ran into a wall at 900, which is exactly the wall we ran into in pre-market trading. Pre-market trading, we ran into 900.5. For me, you're thinking, Matt, it's going down. Why aren't you taking profits? Because I kind of don't care. I'm a trend following trader. Of course I care. That's like an inaccurate thing to say. Of course, every single trade I do, I want it to break. I want it to go. I want to make money. That's why I'm in this game. But I don't care in terms of this particular trade because I took risk off the table. Right now, I am break even on the day. You can see my realized P&L right here. If this gets me out for break even, it's not ideal. And if I want, I could guarantee green by moving it up a couple points. So I'm green on the day. Okay. That's my goal. Like, I'm a trend following trader. I don't just all of a sudden see a little bit of green in my accounts and think, I got to get out. That is a form of trading where, yeah, you could be profitable if you always have measured profit targets and risk. But for me, I think the best way to actually be successful in the world of trading is for me, for my personality, for my account size, for the way I view the market, I am looking for those asymmetric returns. When I'm wrong, as I was earlier, I want to take those small losses and move on with my life. When I'm right, I want to add to it. I want to ride it as long as I can. I don't know how big the moves are going to be. My goal, personally, my goal of a trader is to capture the meat of the move. That is what I am looking to do. Maybe you agree with that sentiment. Maybe you see the market in a similar manner. Maybe we don't agree at all. There are many, many ways to make money in the market. The way I make money in the market is not the only way to make money in the market. So this could come barreling back down and it could knock me out and I can make my $85 and I'd be slightly green on the day. That would be a bummer. But do you know what else could happen? And maybe it happens with literal 50-50 odds, is we could put in a higher low, we could bounce, we could go to 900, and we could explode to 27,000. That could also happen. So for me, I would manage it a little bit differently if my stop wasn't already at break even. If I was still taking on risk, I would be a little bit more like, shoot, this just broke down below 76. How do I want to handle it? But the fact that my stop's already in the green, already guaranteeing that I'm making some money, it just takes the emotional load off. Now, obviously, I very much want it to bounce like right now. I am trying to, it's coming for me, it feels. Maybe it bounces off of RTH VWAP. This hits a little bit more than I very much didn't want it to be. But unfortunately for me, my fill's at 41. The other VWAP is at 36. So if the traders want to test that, I'm going to be shit out of luck. It happens. Hey, Matt, are your TPT Pro accounts safe from yesterday? Yep, you can see them all. Same numbers, same everything. The net liquidation value is less because I took a payout. But look at that. Maybe I got lucky. Maybe we're bouncing off that VWAP. That would be sick. If we can overcome 75 again, I'm going to move my stop up to maybe 49, or maybe I'll just move it right up to 52, 71, 72. As soon as I see 76, what is this low right here? I care a lot remember, I care about price momentum, structure, order flow, options flow, and narrative. Those are the 5 things that I'm checking every single time I am trading. That's my checklist of 5 things. Look at that. Bounce right off of VWAP. So to all of you who are freaking out, like, be honest. And obviously we're working on this as a team. We're all trying to become better traders together. But how many of you right here thought I was stupid for not taking profits because you saw red bar, red bar, red bar, red bar? Raise your hand. Be honest. How many of you were panicking thinking, Matt, you're losing green. What's going on? How are you doing this? That, like, get out, get out, get out. Panic. That is something that as traders, you all have to kind of handle. And it always comes back to stick to your plan. If you had a plan that told you to get out at 90, yeah, you should have gotten out at 90. But for me, my plan was, did you get knocked out for break even? No. Well, then stay in the play. Remember, like, it's always about sticking to you and your plan. This is my system. This is what works for me. Maybe you have a similar system. Maybe you have a completely different system. I don't know. In this one scenario, it worked for me. Right here, if we froze the market at 10:06, there are many, many examples in which it came down and it knocked me out and it went to the other VWAP. That does happen. Now, obviously, we just happen to be in one scenario where no, it bounced at regular trading hours VWAP and ripped all the way up and took out 900. You never know the next bar. And this is one of, folks, listen to this. This is the most important thing I can teach you today. There are many, many marketing charlatans in the world of day trading, prop trading, trading in general, influencing, if you will, that they want you to get your attention, for you to give them your money, and they're going to teach you this model that's the holy grail of trading. It's lights out. You're going to make money all the time. That does not exist, especially as a day trader. Really, even as a swing trader, the game's a 50-50 game. There is no model that can tell you something is absurdly likely, and in the other bucket, it's not likely at all. The chance of the next bar being red or green on an intraday basis is 50-50. If you don't believe me, go test. Go download all the 1-minute data. Go download all the 5-minute data. You get my point. The chance of the next bar being red or being green, either going for you or going against you, is 50-50. There is no model on God's planet, God's green earth, that will somehow give you a magical insight into what's about to happen. Now, why is that true? Well, think about what the next bar is. The next bar is a certain time frame of other traders' decisions in aggregate across the entire globe. So unless you know what all retail traders, institutions, market makers, hedge funds, insurance funds, unless you know what everyone in aggregate is about to do, unless you know what the president's about to put on Twitter, what breaking news we're about to have about Iran, you don't know what the next bar is going to be. It's an unknown. That's the variance of the market. You have to accept the fact that it is an unknown, and that means inevitably the game is always a 50-50 game, and for you to be profitable, you need to be good at risk management. The best traders are not the best traders. They're the best traders because they're the best risk managers. I've said this a million times, but just to say it 1,000,001, if you want to be successful in the game of trading, if you want to make 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, if you want to do this to pay your bills, the best traders are the best risk managers. As soon as you can get your mental psychology to the point where you are obsessed, paranoid about your risk, that is what you're going to have to do to win this game. The best traders are just always managing their risk. When their system tells them to get out for a reasonable loss, they take it. They don't do this hopium thing of, oh, maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't come back, maybe it will, maybe it won't. They don't. When it is their system telling them to get out, they get out. When their system is telling them to get in, well, they stay in, and they definitely don't leave the party early. You're looking at it from the law of large numbers. You need those big winners to pay off those losses. I know at first it can be a little bit difficult to accept. It very much can be difficult to accept. Maybe you have some losers, like a little loser, a medium loser, and then you have a winner and you see a bit of green and you're like, well, hang on, man, this helps me get out of the hole a little bit. But what happens if you get out early and then that's the giant winner that pays for the next 10 losers? You don't know what the market's about to hit you with, so you have to accept that and just update your risk as it is reasonable to do so. I know I've said that, but maybe this is the first time I've said it in that exact manner. Are there questions on it? Honestly, if you, especially as a new trader, or maybe, hey, maybe you're a veteran trader, but maybe we just trade in different styles. That's completely acceptable. Are there any questions that I can answer? I could maybe, as you guys are thinking about your questions about risk management, I can answer questions about why was my bias bullish of okay, Matt, if you're saying it's 50-50, why were you not flipping a coin? Why did you choose to go bullish instead of bearish if it is really a 50-50 game? And mathematically, that's a super fair question. Why did I give the bulls an edge? Well, 5-minute momentum is bullish, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour. Looking at the NASDAQ, 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute, 4-hour. So looking at all forms of momentum, 5-minute to 4-hour, S&P 500, NASDAQ, it's all bullish. Okay, so that's a strong indication from a momentum perspective that the bulls are in control. Looking at options flow, SPY is generically going to the upside. This is the movement of calls and puts. I can see people are buying 0 DTE calls and they are selling 0 DTE puts. Options flow is looking good. It's bullish. Looking at the Mag 7, same thing. I can see the delta flows to the upside. I can see people starting, especially at 10, but a little bit here at 10.06. They're not really touching puts, but they are buying calls. So I see strong price momentum. I see strong options flow. Both of those are favoring the bulls. Sometimes I'll check the daily chart. Okay, I see that overall daily chart momentum is up. That's interesting. I'll look at the positioning of big guys. I can see that we are kind of pushing our way through some negative gamma. Actually, we might be running into a little bit of resistance, but I see that there's a big node at 7135, and I see there's a node at 7150. So I think it was reasonable to rip through this negative gamma. And the first time I might hesitate of are we running into a wall is 7135. Are we at 7135? No, 7135 is the high from yesterday. So I still think that there might be meat on this bone. And then last but not least, just checking structure. That is, where are the highs to the lows? Well, as you can see, we have higher highs, we have higher lows. We have higher highs, we have higher lows. So putting that all together, we have positive price structure on an intraday basis. We have positive price momentum on various time frames. Looking at the daily chart, the bulls are in control. In fact, we're at an all-time high, and basic statistical analysis of the market will tell you new highs commonly beget new highs. Turning it over to the options market, we can see that people are buying calls and selling puts on a 0 DTE basis. We can also see in the options market that there's going to be magnetic nodes, positive gamma nodes at 7135 and 7150. So there's more meat on the move, on the bone. The narrative is that we are in a new ceasefire with Iran, and hang on, pause that. Everyone shut the fuck up. I was supposed to get out of this play.
Order submitted.
Go. I was supposed to get out at 1750. Do I just want to close it? All I needed was 1750. All I needed was 1750. Right here. The 7 PVs. Lock it. Lock. Fuck. Ah! No. Mom.
Order failed.
There we go. America.
Order canceled.
So like I said, I only needed 1750 on these accounts to secure actually I could just even show you. I just did that to secure another 10K payout, 8K after the split, because of their consistency rules. So here is how I've been doing. The 7 PVs are funded futures network. You can see I've been on a pretty good tear over the past 5 trading days. $700, 2.3K, 1.1K, 2.1K, and 1.1. But that's going to update. It just takes a second. As you can see, I made 1.9. So as soon as that updates, you're going to see that my consistency is going to drop. I was at 42. I need it below 40. So as soon as this jumps up to 1.9, the consistency is going to drop because the overall profit's lower. And then that will mean that I can request another 10K payout. So we could come back to this and eventually it's going to update to the 1.9, just so you guys know. But once again, I'm choosing to manage my accounts separately. So I'm done with those now. In fact, just so I don't mess up like I did yesterday, I'm going to disconnect this. No more trading on FFN. Oh, wait, I have pending orders. That's not good. This is what happened yesterday, is I had a bunch of random errors. So right there, proof to all of you, I canceled all orders. I am disconnecting FFN. FFN is disconnected. Let me go back to my lead account, which is Tradeify, free trade.
Order submitted.
All right, there we are, folks. So in a nutshell, what you are seeing in real time is, first of all, I'm giving you freebie trades where I've made a shitload of money. I've probably made over, 40K already today. But this is exactly what I was able to do to get the record-breaking payout on Lucid. I am the first streamer to max out the Lucid Live bonus. I hit my account this morning. I requested it yesterday, $22.5 thousand. They did not put it in my trading account. It goes directly to my bank account. I made 22.5K yesterday from that. I also made money on Legends. I also made money, and when I say made money, I mean like literal payouts. I made money on Legends, TPT, and Tradeify, but I'll update you guys as that comes. But right now, show a little bit of love to Lucid. If you guys are trying to trade with Lucid, I am literally trading with them right now in a live account. This is not a sim account. This is not a sim funded account. These ones, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, are real live accounts. Actual money, actual trades, actual decisions hitting the actual market for real trading. I have 5 real live accounts with Lucid, and you could have them as well. You just have to obviously get to that level. So if you want to try your shot at it, today's a good day. Use code Goonie, 40% off, limit 5 per trader. If you plan on buying any accounts today, if you want to support me, my efforts, my education, I'm never going to ask for money for you guys. But if you choose to buy an account and if you want to use code Goonie, obviously it goes a long way. It's how I'm able to have such a good producer. We just hired a new tech engineer for the company. So we are expanding here in Lucky Buffalo shirt industries. So if you're going to buy an account anyway, and you want to say, you know what, that Matt kid, he teaches me a lot of good shit. The best way to say thank you is to use that code Goonie. And also, hey, if you're here, don't forget to hit that like button. That would be awesome of you. That would be real awesome of you. And if you want to take it to the next level, this is not for everyone. I have to admit, I do a lot of free education anyway, to be completely honest. But if you want to trade directly with me, if you want to use me as a mentor, if you have questions, and also I do a lot of options trading. I save that specifically for the Discord. GoonieTrading.com is the place to get involved if you want to take it to the next level. All right. How are we looking? Stops at break even. We're going to move that up. All right. We are guaranteeing myself $900 on those accounts. So, like I said, I locked in the Legends accounts and I locked in the FFN accounts. That was just mathematically the right way to do it based on the rules of the prop farm, where I'm at, where I'm not at, that type of shit. And then Tradeify Flex is allowed to run, Take Profit's allowed to run, and Lucid's around. Folks, the only ones I have to concern myself with now are the Take Profit evals, and that maxes all the way up at 4.5K. These other ones, I'm literally, they can run it as much as they want. And like what you're seeing, this is exactly why I am a trend following trader because, like I said, you never know how big the trend's going to be. You never know how big the trend's going to be. If it's a big trend, I want to be in it because it's those big returns that all of a sudden, if I make 2.5K, well, I could pay off 5 losses of 500. That's the asymmetric nature. Matt, can you get some tunes popping? Yes, I can. I would love to. I would love to. All right. Play. Here we go. Oh, we're crushing it today. Folks, honestly, what other live streamer does it like this? Like, can you guys, seriously, I don't mean this rhetorically. I know it comes off as a little braggadocious, but in terms of the people you choose to learn from, who else is so consistently destroying the market like this? This isn't a one-time affair. Like, anyone who's been here regularly, you're seeing this shit all the time. How often do you trade live on the Discord? Borderline daily. It kind of depends if the setup's there. But for example, I was already trading in the Discord this morning. But before we get to that, honestly, who else does it? Who else does it? The gloating every day. I don't know. Is it gloating if it's real? Like, seriously. Is it like, I guess I'm so sick and tired of what this industry has become, of a lot of fucking scumbag liars. I'm trying to really drive home the point to you folks that there's so many liars out there. I'm too poor for futures, sadly. No. Chris Sane, no, he's proven to be a scumbag liar. He like literally was threatening to assault his followers who were calling him out for faking stuff. And like when I say that, like literally he threatened to assault them. So, I mean, that's the story. There's not even anything more to the story. People noticed that things weren't adding up, and like basically he tried to doctor shit to make it look like he was better than he was, and people noticed it, so they called him out, and he actually threatened to assault them. J-Dun, no, he was caught up in that the family futures fraud with that Danny guy. He got caught lying a lot with him. Will you ever get your trading license? I'd love for you to manage my account in 401k. No, I am not interested in managing anyone else's money. Can you trade futures only on the funded 150k account? No, anything you see here, you can trade. These are all just sim-to-funded future firms. So for example, if you come to Lucid, these are all for futures. So a 25k account, a 50k account, a 100k account, 150k. These are all for futures. So you could take a 25k account, $70 and be trading futures. Now, obviously, you might want to trade minis instead of micros. Excuse me, you might want to trade micros instead of minis just because of the buffer and the size. But for $70, you can be trading futures. I'm going to sign up and get the Discord trades. I understand the sentiment, but honestly, that's not how you should attack it. There are thousands of people who've come through the Discord. I could tell you the people who do the best, the people who make the most money are the people who come in and they basically just try to learn from me as much as they can. They focus more on the mentorship of, okay, Matt, how do you see this? Explain your framework of trading. Have you considered this? Can you tell me the stats of this? How does this work? Explain spot gamma to me. The people who do the best in the Discord are the people who are always trying to learn more, and the people who do the worst are the people who are simply trying to copy. And I'm telling you that. I mean, do what you want. I think copying is a really bad way, but literally I have the data on the members of my Discord, and the people who always blow out their accounts and then get pissed off that they blew out their accounts are the people who are just there trying to copy. The people who, some of them making more money than me, are the people who are coming in and they're just trying to learn, and more specifically focusing on the statistics, the Bayesian probabilities of the market, and also the probabilities of trading options. That's the difference. So whatever, I'm a businessman. If you want to come in and give me money and then blow out your accounts and get pissed, whatever, I made money. But if you want to come in and learn from me, and honestly, relative to what you could do, folks, It's $1,000 a year. It's $100 a month. It's cheap. I'm up, what, $40,000 today? You might be thinking, but Matt, if you're making so much money, why are you charging? Okay, well, first of all, why do pro athletes take ad deals? Because I'm not fucking stupid. If I can make money in multiple ways, why would I not? Why in the world is Stephen Curry doing a Subway commercial? He makes a lot of money playing basketball. Does he need more? Fuck no. But he's a businessman. Straight up. Why do all these people who make a shitload of money choose to do things that make them more money? That's first of all is because I'm a greedy little fuck who wants to make more money. Second of all, you have to charge to get riffraff out. Not only when the Discord was the free, it was the worst, but then also when you're only charging a little bit, you get a lot of riffraff. You get a lot of people who just don't want to take it seriously. And folks, it is as hard to be a professional athlete as it is to be a professional trader. And depending on the sport, I would actually say that maybe trading is even more difficult. At a certain point, it's just not worth the man hour to be wasting your time on people who don't have the proper mindset to be successful in this game, to be completely honest. When do you start trailing? I mean, I kind of already started trailing, but at this point, I'm kind of looking for 27,000 flat. If I had multiple contracts, I would unload one here at 990 or something like that, and then I would ride the other. The reason you charge is simple. People do not value what they do not pay for. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair way to look at it. Also, I put in a lot of effort to the Discord. I have employees to pay. I take that side of what I do in my life very, very seriously because not only have I put in my 10,000 hours to this particular thing, I am obsessed with trading. Folks, there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about trading. I don't read trading books. I don't study trading. I don't do analysis of trading. This is my thing. And to exceed at the highest level of anything in this world, you have to be fully devoted to your thing. Not to get too philosophical with you, but I understand the U.S. education system. I can't comment for anyone else. They preach this concept of breadth of knowledge. You need to be a well-rounded individual to somehow be a member of society. That might be true in one way or another, but the only way to really maybe get that life that you want to exceed at the highest level of anything is you have to invert that. You have to be concerningly obsessed. I have been trading ever since I was in 10th grade. Ever since 2017, 9 years ago, there's not been a day that's gone by that I haven't done something related to trading. I have made and lost 7 figures. I have had some of the highest highs and I've had some of the lowest lows. This is a brutal fucking game, but that is life. If you are watching this and you're like, yeah, trading's cool, but maybe that's not exactly what I want to do. If it's not your thing, the market's still for you. You should still invest. But to be completely honest, and I know this is counterintuitive because I'm trying to get you to sign up for my Discord, I'm trying to get you to trade futures, but honestly, on a human level, if you are not willing to dedicate a majority of your time to this, trading is not for you. It would be as similar to me going up and like shooting free throws with Stephen Curry and I make a couple and I practice an hour a week. I'm not going to be a professional basketball player. I'm not saying that the markets aren't for you. The markets might very well be for you. Investing is always a thing. You can do it somewhat passively, buy the highest quality blue chip stocks. Yes, the market is a good thing for everyone to get involved in. Trading is really, honestly, it's not for 99% of people. To be completely honest with you, and like I said, I know this is counterintuitive because I have affiliate codes, I have a Discord, but I also have morals here. So to be completely honest, this game's not for everyone. It is not for everyone. This has to be your thing. It's the same way if you want to be a professional athlete, if you want to be a top-end musician. The people in this world who rise to the top, it's because it's the only thing they do. All to be the best in the world at anything is an extremely difficult task. There's nothing in this world that you could be number one of 8 billion by doing it haphazardly. It means dedicating your life to that particular thing. Pretty much over the past 10 to 15 years, I've dedicated myself to nothing but the markets. So as this might seem easy, oh, Matt, you made all that money. You made a shitload of money. You do it time and time again. What you didn't see was all of the hours put in before this. And my goal, not only in when I'm attempting to teach and share, and once in a while we fuck around and have good jokes and listen to good music, is I'm just attempting to make your learning curve a little bit less steep. My goal is to, maybe you don't need 10,000 hours, maybe I could shorten it to 9,000 for you. My goal is to basically let you know about all the missteps and the erroneous pathways that I went on to attempt to speed up your particular pathway, if this is something you choose to do. Now, I think some people need to have an honest, earnest conversation with themselves. Is this what you want to do? It's not for everyone. It's clearly not. Maybe you want to be the best fucking ping pong player in the world. Great. Invest in the market, but you're not going to make it as a trader. Now, for those of you who you're like, no, I actually kind of really, really fucking like this. Well, that's what I'm here for. That's what you have to do. This is more, it's not more of a, it applies to trading, but this is a life message. Is if you want to be the best in the world at anything, you have to basically say you're going to do nothing else. Speaking of which, someone is dumping the market at 96. We almost hit 27,000 flat. And Matt, why are you not getting out? Because once again, I'm trend following. Once again, I am riding the trend to the best of my ability. In the worst case situation, I've guaranteed myself 1.6K on the day. If it falls back and I hit 1.6K, that's a really, really good day for me. That's a really good day. You know what's a better day? Is if we somehow find a higher low and we pop all the way up and I make 3.3K. I don't know which one's going to happen. All I know is it's a game of risk management. I'm doing my best to ride the trend. If the trend starts to break down, I'm going to get knocked out. Maybe I should actually move this to 19 just in case. So if it reverts, cool. I make 3.3K. But what you should really be focusing on is the worst case scenario. And for me, the worst case scenario is 1.5K and we're crushing. Like, so would I be stoked about that? No, I'd be stoked if we hit 3,325. That would be awesome. Clearly, that would be awesome. But I don't know the next bar. I couldn't, as much as I could not have predicted this red bar, I could not have predicted this green bar or this red bar or this green bar or this green bar. Actually, what I want to do though, I do want to add to these evals. Why is the volume not working? Did I lose Oh, it's because of this. So all I did right there was I added to the evals because they're evals, so I can trade them a little bit more degenerately than I normally would, because my goal is to get to 4.5K. So I added another contract, but I only did that to the eval accounts. I did not do that to the live account or to the funded account. And basically, I just try to add to this dip just in case it goes to 27,000 flat. That was the logic there. Okay. On that note, there's buyers at 55. There's a lot of sellers at 27,000 flat. And I am trying to lock in on that pop above 27,000. I'm looking for, like, maybe it gets up to it and just wicks above. And you could argue, but Matt, that's not trend following. You're picking an arbitrary level. Yeah, no, that's fair. But there is really what I'm looking at is we're getting onto a little bit of the struggle bus here. I see SPX. Maybe it bounces right off of this. Hang on. What do I need to manage? The sad thing here is if this gets knocked out, there's a good chance, not even on this one, there's a good chance if I left my stop at break even at 840 that this would never even come close, and wherever we dip in here. But then the trade-off is in that non-0% chance that the dip is bad, that I at least guarantee the 1.5. So you see right there of how like that mental dialogue all of a sudden can be like, oh, but maybe give it a little bit more room. Maybe give it a little bit more room. That is the voice that you need to fight against, folks. That is the voice. Like, no, what is your risk management? Clearly articulate your risk management, and then obviously take it to the next level and get your risk management on the chart. That's how you do it. So is your Discord going to teach someone who only knows the bare minimum to be a lot more educated if he was dedicated? Yeah, I mean, I have a ton of educational videos in there, and then I'm in there daily. I'm not in there 24/7 on VC, but obviously I have a phone, so I'm always reading it. But basically, you get to see all of my live trades, especially the ones that are happening off of camera. There's a lot of educational videos that were previous lectures. I'm in VC, so we could chat if you have questions and need a breakdown. But then the most useful tool is it's a community of like-minded traders. So most trading communities on this planet are a bunch of fucking weird ass, like, oh, like buy. Oh, I'm buying this penny stock. Oh, like, and they're trying to make it a show. Like, they're still trying to make it entertaining. And like, yes, I try to entertain, especially with you guys here. But in the Discord, like, we're trying to actually make money. Our clear goal is to try to make as much money as we possibly can. So with that in mind, it's not this. I mean, the only way to really understand it is to get in there, but the best resource is the like-minded traders of people who are ideally taking the market, ideally, even more seriously than you are. 1030 reversal, maybe, who knows? That's not the question. You could ask questions like that all the time, but you're not going to ever get an answer. I struggle to let trades run. I always get scared when it comes back against me. Oh, that's easy. Stop being a pussy. That's actually one of the easiest problems is just be less of a bitch. Matt, what are you seeing that sets your profit target to 27,007? I just thought it was cool. I like the 7007. Beyond that, there was literally nothing there. Like, literally, I was like, oh, 27,007. It's a weird number. It's 166 points. It's $3,325. It's 2.14%. It's honestly as random as could possibly be. I just thought it looked cool. Folks, you have to accept that sometimes there's a shitload of randomness to this game. And actually, I might be moving my stop up. All right, so no matter what, I'm guaranteed 2K per account. Matt, I've been trading since 2009. You are by far the best online trader I've come across. I appreciate that. Do you guys find it weird that I beat a person I refuse to name on stream, and he still won't pay me the $100,000 that he owes me? In November of 25, so a couple months ago, I beat a trader. Like, he wanted to do a trading competition. He was like this annoying little dog, yapping, like a little piece of shit chihuahua type of a vibe. Like, that is him in like 100%. And he has not paid me the $100,000. Do you know how crazy that is? And actually, I just saw people were sending me that he's trying to get into more trading competitions with more people, betting that he's going to win. Bro, he still owes me $100,000. And he's like, no, we didn't actually agree to it. You know, you lost a trading competition when the person's like, oh, we didn't actually agree. It was a fake. It was fake. It was a fake agree. Bro, like, come on. $100,000. Could you take legal action against someone that maybe something to look into, something to consider. All right, let's see if my magical, mystical prediction works out. No way. How about them apples? Folks, do you need more proof that they're against me? It hit 7006.25. I was off by less than 1 point on that prediction of how high the spike would be above it. Less than 1 point. Look at that. 27,006.25. My fill was in at 07. Less than 1 freaking point. The dark pools, brother. I know in Illinois it's a verbal contract. Oh, well, this was on Twitter. It's written. It's all up there. I'm not like trying to be obtuse about it. You guys can see it. Go to my tweets in November and you can see me agreeing to the trading competition because you're like, do you agree? Do you agree? And I said, sure. And then I posted an update video at the end of November of how I did in November, and his numbers did not beat my numbers. Well, now I'm a little bit bummed about this one, to be completely honest. Maybe I shouldn't. That extra point is what gets you. Those damn globalists. I agree. Those damn globalists. That's a real fucking bummer, honestly. What time is it? 10:42. So we still have time. We still have time, but I did want to cover the car stuff with all of you. Ah, man, that's such a bummer. By 1 point? By 1 point? Is this what they're going to do to me? Have you ever traded gold? Yes. And why did you switch? I made more money off the NASDAQ. Come on. Come on. I can't believe that. How much money is that mistake going to cost me? $600 per contract or per account. You're going to have to manipulate. I'm about to. This is a load of bullshit. That's not good for me. Fuck, dude. That's a real bummer. Come on. Come on. No. See? And sometimes it just goes like this. Like I said, there's an aspect of variance. There's an aspect of luck. Sometimes you get lucky and catch the move, and you're about to get out, and in less than 1 point, the market reverts and dumps 40 points on you. It happens. It happens. It happens, which is you can never predict what the next bar is going to be. All you can do is control your risk. So for me, I've guaranteed myself $2,000. It's that simple. Fade Matt's TP. It's a solid strat. Unfortunately, that seems to be one of the best things you can be doing is another strategy is the second I get knocked out to take that trade. There's been many, many people who have started to realize that, okay, Matt's going to get knocked out at 44.25. So you guys go long at 44.25. Going short right below my profit targets and going long at my stop outs seems to be a freebie moneymaker. I can't explain it. The math doesn't make sense, but it is definitely some sort of cosmic interference, if you will. What is this? 78, 79. I need this to bounce like now to have a shot. I'm not going to cry that hard. There's no crying in the casino. I'm still making $2K per account. It just sucks because I could have made 3,315. Like, it was that close. That's just a bummer. Yeah, I find myself watching Matt almost every other day. I appreciate that. You guys are the fucking best. This is why you guys are the best community. 15. I would guarantee myself an extra $300. Should I just move it up to that low? Just start playing it a little bit tighter just in case it's a hard rejection off of IB The IB is set, by the way. That's probably better risk management. Let's go. This one's for America. Let's pump it. Let's pump it. If there are any billionaire friends in chat who want to buy the NASDAQ right now and jack it up for your boy, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for 27 points. I'm not asking for much. I'm asking for 27 points. Should I just go to 27,000 now? Come on. This is the point where, in retrospect, you always grade yourself on what was better. So here's what I'm saying. Not knowing the market, and this is where trading educators, those gurus, really get you. Okay, so this is going to play out in one of two ways. Either it's going to spike and I'm going to get my fill, or it's actually the high and it's going to come down and hit my stop. And that is true right now. 50-50 shot of both, pretty much. If it spikes and hits me, all the trading gurus and furus would be like, oh my God, you had so much discipline. Way to stick with the trade. You did exactly what your system told you to do. You didn't get shaken out. Now, if it goes the other way and knocks me out, they'll be like, why were you so greedy? It almost got there anyway. Why wouldn't you just take your profits? Now, what's funny about that feedback as a trader is both are true, and you're only getting the feedback based on the outcome. It's called resulting. And that's the brutal nature of it, is a lot of the times, and this has happened to me endlessly with all the times that I try to have an educator or something, is no matter what you did right or wrong, it was always explained based on the outcome, which is bullshit because you don't know the outcome. You don't know what the outcome's going to be. Of course, if it's about to go down, I'd be getting out now. Of course, if it's going to go up, not only would I be holding it, I'd be adding more contracts. But it's based on unknown information. And the fact that the mentorship and the teaching and the education of it all was based on already knowing the outcome, it's a load of bullshit. It's a crock of bullshit. I don't actually know what metric size a crock is, but I love it. A crock of bullshit. That's hilarious. Side point, though. But you guys get my point. How many times has that happened to you? Where like, no, you were just greedy. It's like, oh, okay, I didn't think so, because in the other 50% of the time, if I held, I'd be called disciplined. So how can doing the exact same thing in one situation be disciplined and in the other situation you're being greedy when you're doing the same thing? It does not make sense. And it doesn't make sense, and it's not supposed to make sense. It's supposed to basically, hang on. It's basically just supposed to, I guess, make you feel shittier or continue to pay whoever your educator is money. It's dumb. Like a crock pot, Matt. Is a crock pot a standardized unit of measurement? I like the fact that it's at if it pumps to 90, do I just want to get out at 3K each? Is it even really worth it? If this were to pump to 90 right now, should I just bail because 3K is a good day? It's a fair question. I feel like now I'm pot committed. I feel like I was dealt ace king and the flop and the turn were good, and now we're just waiting for the river, you know? Am I going to get rivered, though? Am I going to get sucked off by the river? Or am I going to hit a boat? I was dealt ace-king, suited. Flop was good. Flop was fine. Turn is setting us up. We're either going for a boat, we're going for a straight flush. What's the river going to be? What's it going to be? What's it gonna be? Well, here's the state of the accounts. Part of me, and this has nothing to do with trading, part of me wants to lock in so we could talk about the car thing. I'm just afraid to start talking about the car thing when I'm gingerly trying to manage this position. Take it. You said '07 was random. Don't marry a rando. Dude, life's random. Every number's random. Who gives a shit? You know? It's all is every 81's random, 90's random, 91. It's all random. Like, dude, the whole thing is random. The game's random. Fuck, right back down to that level. I think the market heard me. They're like, does he actually want 3K? Oh. Yeah, we're getting tagged right at that IB level. And now it's getting a little smacked. This is the tough one. Do I need patience or am I being greedy? You don't know until after it plays out. Inherently, the next bar could be red, and then you could be like, Matt, you were being greedy. The next bar could be giant and green, and you could be like, Matt, you were being patient.
Order filled.
I liked the sound of 2.5K. Playing the... that wasn't really a chart play because it didn't break down, and there is a very good saying that you shouldn't be playing the chart. But hey, for the point of social media, 2.5K across every account. Once again, the ones that are not are just, these are evals, whatever. But 2.5K on all funded accounts. The best I could have done was 3.2. So I gave a little bit back. But if the max was 3.2, I made 2.5 after going up 500 and losing it. I got the meat of the move. I got a percentage, like a high percentage of the move, potential little breakdown right there. Can't complain. You can't complain. It's unfortunate that I had mine at 707 instead of 706. That's a bummer because it would have looked like a sick top tick, but there's no way to predict that stuff. So technically, I shouldn't have gotten out until this breakdown of 44, but it looks like that's coming anyway. So got a little unlucky there, but got a little lucky with an extra, like an early exit. So 2.5K. And then just to show you how everything went today, I traded on Legends and I traded on FFN as well. So just to be transparent, like you guys saw all the trades, you saw all the explanations. Legends right here. The 307, 307, 307. Those ones, there's no point in me trading past 200 per day. So as soon as I saw it above 200, I got out of the position. So that's the 300. The 7 PVs, I stopped at 1.9 because, like I said, my max was 1750 just to get the payout. That's all I needed today. So I stopped that there. So the Legends, I stopped when I needed to. And then the FFNs, aka the 7 PVs, the Fund and Future Networks, I got out when I needed to. And then the rest, I rode to the best of my ability. I got out at 2.5K on the remainders. I theoretically could have, if I like somehow magically knew how to top tick, I would have gotten 3.2K. So I gave back 700 from the high. That's going to happen. You can't hold yourself to the standard of perfection because where I got out, well, for all I knew, it could have just kept going down. Technically, my stop wouldn't have been triggered there if I left it at 44. So if it rips from here, I'm definitely going to be a little bit bummed. But I can tell you now, the only thing I'm going to trade on for the remainder of the day, if I trade at all, are the evals on take profit. So I have these 3 evals, the 99, the 27. See how these ones say take profit pro? Those are funded. The take profits are not. So I'm done on the day except for evals, just to be very, very clear. And I guess before we move on to talk about car, let's see how much money this actually was. Once again, all done real time. Let's take that screenshot and have our little AI slave whip this one up for all of us. ChatGPT. And it might keep going today. And if it does, sometimes you just have to learn to be like, I missed that one. It happens. What's the total PNL? All right. So before we talk about car, let's just see how we actually did on the day. Looks like we working 54,000. Not bad. Not bad. Almost 54,000. Technically, we don't have to count these evals 2, 4, 6. So we can remove 7K from that. Remove 2.4. That is 7.2. So you could subtract 7.2. So really 47K on funded accounts. Between the funded and the live accounts made 47K. That's the number that really matters. Subtracting these three right here just because they're evals, they don't really help me that much. But in terms of funded accounts, I could take out 3K from each of these today. That would be sick. Legends, I can't because I'm waiting to go live with them. I'm going to request from FFN today. On Tradeify, I need 4 more trading days, but that's a good start. And then on these live accounts, these are legit live accounts. So made about 54,000, made about 47,000 of money that actually matters to me. So pretty fucking good day. Like I said, if you want to learn from me, if you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. And if you want to attempt yourself to get the Lucid Live payouts, remember up to 5 accounts from Lucid, 5 per trader, 40% off, code Goonie. The code Goonie is going to work on any firm. If you like Tradeify, if you like Legends, if you like Apex, we're partnered with all of them. Those are all the ones basically, if you see me trading one, that's because at this moment in time, I trust the company. I've been with firms that I don't trust, and that's why you don't see them anymore. The only one on top of this that, I could show it to you that I trust that you're just not seeing is right here. It's Apex, and it's just because that's 20 accounts, and it messes up the thing. But I have all my Apex accounts. I'm just waiting. Just waiting. So these are all the accounts I use. These are all the accounts I trust. So let's disconnect that. Let's cancel all orders. Okay, there are no more pending orders. And then let's also make sure that we are good with the copier because I had some issues yesterday. Oh, brother. Okay, so we're crushing today. Obviously, there's still more time left in the day. Like I said, I might continue to trade the evals because I can go up to 4.5K, just trying to get these to 159 in total. But on that note, as I promised you guys before, I want to talk a little bit about Kohrs. Kohrs is a full-fledged short squeeze. Right here, it is ripping like no other. Ever since it got going, at one point today it was up 727%. As I'm filming this, it was up 618. It went from $94 a share at a max to $945. Currently trading at $733. It is up a lot, and it's a full-fledged short squeeze. The short interest is sky high, 94%. The short interest value estimated by Ortex is $6.8 billion. Utilization is maxed out. The only reason the short score is not higher is because the cost to borrow is relatively low. In events like this, it's not rare to see cost to borrow spike all the way up to 100, 200, 300, 400, 500%. That is the only thing that is not like picture perfect about the numbers related to Kohrs and it being a short squeeze. So it's ripping. In a nutshell, there's a bunch of shorts who are absolutely stuck. But if you want to see some of the breaking news, I could do my best to explain some of it. Piper, do you want to talk about Kohrs? Should I take it or do you want to take it? She's tired. You just want to nap? She attacked me this morning, by the way. Oh, you guys can't see it. Just understand. Can you guys kind of see it right there? That cut across my wrist. I wasn't suicidal. It was my cat fighting me. just to be clear. Okay, what do we have? This should be illegal. Rental car company with $24 billion in debt just exploded 600% a month because two investors own over 100%. So right here, basically, you're seeing the float is very low. A lot of the shares are locked up, which means if it starts to go, it puts quite a bit of pressure on the short. So that's the first interesting thing. The second interesting thing is why should it be illegal? Why should short squeezes be illegal? It's the open and free market. So all of a sudden, you're going to be protecting shorts. The longs aren't protected. The shorts aren't protected. That's bullshit. This is a horrible take. Two hedge funds, SRS Investment and Pent Water Capital, control 71% of the shares, but when they include their cash-settled equity swaps, their combined holdings exceed the entire outstanding supply. That is stupid. Why would you ever consider a derivative when the derivative contract is not executed? So really, they own 71, but remember, because of the process known as rehypothecation, there's effectively shares could always be loaned out, sold to the market, the new owner can loan it out again, and then that process can repeat indefinitely. To say that it's over 100% because you're counting swaps, that only matters if the swap is actually executed. It's silly. This company that reported $995 million net loss last year and has been struggling under a massive debt load for months on technical ownership glitch changed everything. The supply mismatch is so extreme that short sellers are trapped in mathematical impossibility. So whether it's 71%, 108%, whether you want to count the derivatives or not, the point is that there's just not many different shares being traded. It's a lot of the same shares being recycled, which makes it tough for the 94% short interest to get out. So are they 100% trapped? No, but they're very, very trapped. And as soon as people realize that, because the market is a vicious, shark-infested place, well, people said, let's push these shorts to the brink, and that's exactly what you're seeing. With zero shares left to borrow and the float effectively non-existent, that's the interesting part about this one, is the shorts basically non-existent. The market just gave a debt-heavy rental company a 6x game simply because the math broke. Once again, that's kind of right. This person doesn't fully know what they're talking about. It's kind of right, kind of wrong, but remember, shares can be recycled, and also remember that this idea of banning short selling because things are going up, no, sucks to be them. That's the danger of getting into a short position. They should have known it. Kohrs, this was a well-executed short squeeze by Pentwater Capital. Between them and SRS Management, they have an economic interest through the stock and total swap returns. So once again, everyone talking about this understands that the only way for them to have over 100% is by counting swaps. But at that point, are you going to count all calls in existence? Are you going to count all puts in existence? Mathematically, it's an erroneous way to count ownership. It just is. If a stock has 100 shares in existence, you wouldn't then go out there and say, oh, but because someone owns a call, then there's another 100 shares. And at that point, let's just count all of the warrants. Let's count all options. Let's count all warrants. Let's count all swaps. That's not how it's done. That's just simply not how it's done. So they are right to call it out, but then to count that in the percentage ownership, it's silly. It's the same way silly to act like it's a big deal that you can have more than 100% short interest. I know at first it can seem jarring, but it's because of market structure. So if you want to say, oh, I think market structure is wrong and it shouldn't allow for it, okay, that's a different story, and maybe we could have an academic discussion about it. But to act as if something is broke, no, this is literally how market structure is set up. And like I said, I'm not pouring one out for the shorts because they knew what they got involved in when they took a short position. Let's see what this guy had to say. It's 4 minutes long. Maybe it's interesting. Maybe it's not. I don't know if this guy knows what he's talking about. But like I said, in the world of trading and influencing, not in terms of pure knowledge, but in terms of people who have a following, I do believe that I am one of the most informed people who have a following on the dynamics of shorts, because I lived not only through the AMC and GME saga, but I was in the fortunate position to bring on people who run exchanges and also experts on market making and on market structure onto the show. If you want to hear what they had to say, The videos are up. The interviews are up. This is not something I came up with myself. This is not my own knowledge. I was informed by people who are literal experts in this subject matter, and I just happen to remember the talk. So it's not like I invented this. I did not come up with it. I just learned from people who know far more than I do.
This is how cutthroat Wall Street is. 2 hedge funds bought over 100% of a company's stock. Now,
false. Right away. That is false. Their ownership is 78, but remember, shares can be very hypothecated, and the only way you're going to hear over 100, and specifically the number is 108, but that's only if you count derivatives, and it's just where does it stop if you're counting derivatives?
Every short seller on the other side of the trade is trapped. So there's this car rental company called Avis. You probably heard of them. You might have even rented from them. The thing is, Avis isn't in great shape. It's a functioning company, sure, but sales...
Pause. This sounds like an AMC storyline. AMC never had close to this amount of short interest. The highest AMC ever had was around 24%. Yes, I know every fucking dweeb on the internet is telling you about naked shorting and synthetic shares, and the short interest is hundreds of percent. They're fucking stupid, and they have no idea what they're talking about.
Have been declining. It's losing money, and it's sitting on $28
Avis
billion
is a fundamentally
paper,
a bad
this
company.
Looked like a terrible company to invest in and a great company to bet against. So short sellers started piling it. These are people who borrow shares and sell them in hopes that they can buy them back at a cheaper price. They make money when the stock goes down. By mid-March, about half of all tradable Avis shares were sold short, an enormous amount. But there was one thing the short sellers didn't pay enough attention to. A hedge fund called SRS Investment Management, run by a guy named Karthik Sarma, had been sitting on around half of all Avis shares for years. Sarma is on the company's board, and he's a true believer in the stock. His fund wasn't selling. Then in March, another hedge fund walked in. Pentwater Capital Management looked at this situation and saw a massive opportunity to squeeze the short sellers. One fund already owned half the company, and the number of shares sold short was through the roof. If someone came in and bought a massive chunk of what was left, the shorts would be toast. So that's exactly what Pentwater did. They started buying aggressively. And by the end of March, Pentwater controlled almost half of the company. Now, this is where the math gets absurd. Between SRS and Pentwater, when you add up the shares they own directly and the additional exposure they have through contracts with banks, they control about 108% of Avis stock. 108%, as in more than all of it. Now, you might be wondering how anyone can own more than 100% of something. Well, it's because of the short sellers themselves. You see, when you short a stock, you borrow a share from someone who owns it and sell it to someone else. After that,
he's explaining
effectively own the same share. The original buyer who lent it out and the new buyer who bought it from you. That's how total ownership can exceed 100%. Now, SRS and Pentwater don't literally own every share. Other investors like index funds and individual traders own some too. But they own so much that the supply of available shares has become extremely tight. And here's why that's a nightmare scenario.
It's more of the fact that it's become a micro float, as in there's not many unique shares out in the market. That's the interesting dynamic.
Buy shares. But if 2 funds control the vast majority of available stock, the shorts are essentially forced to buy from them. And they can charge extremely high prices for those shares. So that's exactly
they're not charging much. The cost to borrow is 4%.
$100 to almost $600 in a month. Short sellers have racked up billions of dollars in losses. And here's what's wild. They're not giving up. The short sellers are actually doubling down. Now, 58% of all shares are short, which is even higher than what it was before this squeeze began.
It's 94.
Now, these might not be the same shorts that got crushed on the way up. It's probably new short sellers.
Yeah, it could be new shorts. There are probably some people who went short at 800.
Has to come back down to earth eventually. And based on the fundamentals, they're probably right. Avis at $500 or $600 per share is completely disconnected from the underlying business. So the short sellers are basically betting that this can't last forever. They might be thinking SRS and Pentwater are professional money managers. At some point, it makes sense for them to sell and lock in their enormous profits. On top of that, Avis, the company itself, could issue new shares at any time.
It's going to get to dilution,
price.
For Avis to save itself like AMC, they're going to dilute.
And the stock would crash. But of course, the classic problem with that logic is that the market can stay irrational longer than the shorts can stay solvent. It's kind of like the GameStop situation from a few years ago. Only difference is that was a band of individual investors on Reddit going up against hedge funds.
That's actually not true. They've now found out it was a bunch of hedge funds with GameStop.
So we'll see what happens. Right now, it's a standoff. The two hedge funds own over 100% of Avis's stock, and short sellers are doubling down against them. Will SRS, Pentwater, or Avis start selling and end the squeeze, or will the short sellers get crushed even further? What do you guys think is going to happen? Let me know in the comments and follow for more investing insights.
I give that like a 6.5 out of a 10, maybe a 7 out of a 10. It wasn't completely wrong. I understand that some of the things that he was saying were technically wrong. It's because it makes it a good video. But counting swaps as actual equity ownership, it's just not how you do it. But right here, now everyone is citing 108, 108, 108. How can you own more than 100? The people who don't understand, whenever you have any share short, there's more than 100% ownership. As soon as you have a single share short of any stock ever, that means you have to have more than 100% ownership, because you have a block of stocks. Let's say no one is short at all. Let's say there's 100 stocks, right? Well, for someone to go short, they have to take shares out on loan from someone who owns it and then sell it to the market. As in, shares that already have ownership then get resold to the market by the new short. As in, the only way to not have 100% ownership is if there's 0% short interest. As soon as you have a single share that is short, you technically have more than 100% ownership. So if we look at something like Kohrs, 94% short interest. So basic math is literally 194% ownership. That's the only way it works, is because you're taking shares that are already owned and selling it to the market again. So if the crude math on this situation is, if you want to know how much above 100 it is, literally just look at the short interest. I think it's really, really silly to count something like warrants or options. Obviously, if you exercise warrants, then that is legit new shares. Options are never going to become new shares. And even cash swaps, like that depends on how the counterparty in the swap is going to be handling it. Now, shrewd players would go to the market, and there's a chance that this is ripping because whoever had the other side of the swap was buying up to make good on the potential swap deal, which, depending on how the swap is written, yeah, they might be on the hook for it. So this could just be the swap buyers. So I give that video, like, it's not completely wrong, but it's really kind of missing the major points. And then you get people who really don't know what they're talking about, like this. How can you own more than 100%? Every single publicly traded stock in existence has more than 100% ownership. That's how it works. That's how it works. Doesn't a short seller not own a share until they buy it? They don't get to vote, for example. No, they own it because it's out on loan. It's yours. To close the position, they have to buy it back, but the ownership is theirs. That's the process of going out on loan. That's like literally, you can't sell something that you don't own, so they loan it. And then obviously to make good on the loan, they have to give it back. So someone owns the stock, then someone else comes to them and says, hey, I would love to loan your stock. I'll pay you if I can loan it. So now they own the stock for the temporary loan. They sell it to the market to create the position. Then they buy it back to close out the position. Then they have to return the loan. But like things like this, like that got a lot of likes, 311. This is a big account, 340,000. It's just, once again, when it comes to social media, there's just so many people who don't know what they're talking about. There's many things going on in this world that I don't know what I'm talking about. No one's going to be an expert in everything, but I can tell you on this, I am an expert. Like this is, if I know something about the market, it is the market structure of shorting. It is trading in a general sense. It is short squeezes. This is what I studied for years. I am the expert on this one very specific, unique thing. And the amount of fake information or just like misunderstood things going, it's crazy. Now, okay, you might be saying, Matt, I learned something. Cool. Thanks for like the nerdy updates. What does this actually mean for the stock? This is a full-on short squeeze. Just because people aren't necessarily getting the mechanics and the ownership and that right, that doesn't take away from the fact that this is a legit short squeeze, and most likely it's also leading into what's referred to as a gamma squeeze. A short squeeze is basically when you have a bunch of trap shorts and they have to buy at higher prices to get out, so they buy to close out the position and it pushes it higher. That has to do with existing short positions. A gamma squeeze has to do with the options market. A gamma squeeze has to do when a bunch of people are buying calls. And then as price goes up, the market makers, because they sold so many calls, need to buy the underlying themselves to protect all the calls that they sold. So it goes up more because the market maker becomes a natural buyer. As it goes up more, people FOMO and they buy more calls, adding more negative gamma, and then it pushes up even more, forcing the market maker to buy even more. So obviously, this has a positive, I guess, snowball effect, but it plays into the short squeeze. So sometimes when you get this price expanse of 700%, it's because you have a short squeeze and a gamma squeeze, something in the equities market and in the options market playing against each other back and forth. The shorts are under pressure, so they have to buy to close out to stop their losses. That pushes it up. People see it going up. People talk about it. It becomes a story. It becomes news. So then they buy calls. It goes up more. The market makers are on the hook. They buy more, pushing it up higher. That causes more FOMO, causes more pressure on the shorts, and it plays back and forth. So what you're seeing in CAR, you're seeing a squeeze that has components of a short squeeze, and really that the interesting market structure part about this is because it's effectively become a low float. Float is how many shares are in existence. And there's a lot of shares in existence, but many of them are not being touched by those two, by the two hedge funds. So you only have a small amount of shares, and the smaller the float, the metaphor I always use back in 2021, 2022 is the lower the float, it's like the person in an airport running with luggage. The less luggage you have, the faster you can run. So the float is being constricted by the hedge funds right now. So the person running through the airport has a lot less luggage, so they can go faster. So that's on the equity stock side. On the option side, Spot Gamma, if you want to see it, was posting about it, of how the gamma is just going nuts. So you're seeing on the option side, people FOMOing in, buying a bunch of calls, forcing market makers to protect their book, buying the underlying. So they're buying the underlying of something that's a low float, and that's exactly how you get this. So you are seeing a gigantic squeeze in CAR. It's a combination of a short squeeze in the equity market, a gamma squeeze in the options market, and it's not going to end well. Nothing ever in the market squeezes like this and then just stays at this value. What goes up must come down. Gravity will win out. Avis Budget Group is fundamentally a poor play. It is trading way above where it should be. The best thing that they could do fundamentally as a company is sell stock at this elevated price to basically try to take care of their debt, maybe pivot the company. They could sell so much stock here, they could become another AI play. Avis Budget Group, your favorite AI data center. But what they should do is check all of their public filings, see how much stock they could sell, and they should offer an at-the-money market, ATM, at the market offering. That's what they should do. And as soon as the company starts doing that, that's exactly when that's the start of the end. And that's all of a sudden they dilute it. It goes from being a micro float or a low float to a medium float to a large float. They're adding stock to the public market. They're adding more shares. That's going to dilute it. And then eventually gravity will win out. So when will it win out? I have no idea. This thing can keep going. I'm not saying that this is done right here just because we're seeing a little bit of red. No. To the contrary, this thing, it has a lot of rocket fuel. Now, that doesn't mean this might be the top. I have no idea. But it is not an investment at all. This is, from a fundamental standpoint, this would be a really, really poor investment. It is an active trade. It's a great active trade. It has great range to the upside. It's going to have great range to the downside. Just don't get married to it. Understand it's a great active trade. If you're long, great. Get your stop to break even, trail price, ride it as long as you can. Don't try to target a particular price level. Ride the trend as long as the trend is intact, however you want to define it. As soon as the trend breaks down, take your money and move on with your life. And if you know how to do share locates and that type of stuff, yeah, eventually this will be a phenomenal short. It really will be a phenomenal short. It's just a question of when, and obviously timing has a lot more to do with the market than actually being right on this type of stuff. So I just want to let you know, this is a legit squeeze. It's a short squeeze. It's a gamma squeeze, but prices will not stay here. So does that make it a bad play? No, it actually makes it a phenomenal trade, but it makes it a horrible investment. On that, I guess, are there questions? I know we went over a lot. Short squeeze, gamma squeeze. We talked a little bit about market making. We talked a little bit about swaps. We talked about a lot how the internet is like, their mind is blown that there's over 100% ownership. But once again, there's more than 100% ownership on every single stock in existence. That's how the stock market works. So it's not unique. What's unique to Avis, unique to Kohrs, is that it has 94% short interest, and about 71% of the stock of the shares are not being traded. So it's being basically constricted by 2 hedge funds to be a low float stock, which is causing any movement to be much more extreme movement. Why don't you short it? Because like I said, why would I get in front of a steamroller? This thing could easily keep going. The one of the telltale times to short it is to wait for the first at the market offering. Remember when you were going to the news stations to talk about AMC short squeeze? LOL, what a time. Yeah, I was right. It did squeeze. I was 100% right. I'm going to be right on Kohrs. I was right on AMC. I called out the squeeze on AMC, and so did other people. I called out the squeeze. It did squeeze. Guess what? They started to dilute it, and that was the end of it, and it came tumbling back down. Same thing with GME. The squeeze was, ooh, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Let me clean up this chart. Same thing. It went absolutely bonkers. It went absolutely crazy. That one, more so of Roaring Kitty. They started to do at the market offerings, and then it collapsed. Like, you see it. Like I said, I really started this. I don't think any of this stuff should be illegal. You just have to understand the dynamics of how the market does or doesn't work. How do I short on Robinhood? I don't you have to be a very shrewd player to know how to short this. I wouldn't recommend that for the average person in here, or even the really good person in here. You have to be specifically good at shorting to be able to handle something like Kohrs. And look at something like Melvin Capital. It blew out because of GameStop. I have a window capture blocking it. Oh, let's get rid of that. But I hope that makes sense. Throughout that conversation, I did get into a trade here. Once again, as I promised you, I am only trading these evals, just trying to get it as close to 159 as I possibly can. I'm long at 75. I'm looking to lock in one of these two at 27,000 flat, just in case there's another rejection there. I would have gotten knocked out at 40. My stop was going to be at 44, so I actually made the right play to get out at 65 instead of 44, because it would have wicked me out by 4 points just for it to break anyway. So anyway, but once again, it's just the evals. Take profit. There's no pro. Trying to lock in one, stops at break even, and I'm basically just trying to run this up another 1.5K. You also need high liquidity to short this. Yeah.
Filled.
Okay, that's sick. Let's clean that up.
Canceled.
Let's make sure there's no orders. Free play.
Order submitted.
Free play, locked in. Ran these ones up, realized to 2.8K, and then I have a runner that is currently up. How many ever points it is currently up. So I will happily, I'll let this run to about 4K and some change. If it goes, it goes. If not, that's cool as well. I'm trying to just do some quick math here. You know what? Let's just see if this hits.
Order submitted.
Another 1.5K. We'll see if we could lock that in. That'd be right below the 4.5K max. TPT on the evals does have a 50% consistency. So if I could lock that in, it would be like 4K and some change. So I'm either getting stopped out for break even and I'm done at 2.8K on the day, or it's going to rip and I'll make about 4.3, 4.4K. But once again, that's just on those 3 accounts. But the important part is the stops at break even. I am risking nothing. So it either goes up and I make more money, or I'm exactly at the number that I'm at anyway. Okay, cool. Folks, that's pretty much what I have for you. Shout out to Lucid, record-breaking achievement there. If you want Lucid, 40% off code Goonie. That's going to be true for all of these. I like the flex If you want to trade with me, GoonieTrading.com. Before I let you guys go, are there any questions on the CAR, the short squeeze, the gamma squeeze? Obviously, if you're in the Discord, I can speak with you personally in VC right after this. Are there any questions? Are there any questions? CAR options are scary. Yeah, you got to be careful because the vol is super, super high. So you're overpaying. The extrinsic value is probably more than the intrinsic value at this point. It'll fall at some point, not just sure when. 100% right. It will return. Like gravity will win out. We've seen it with every short squeeze in the past. It will happen again. Don't think that this is investment. CAR is not an investment. This is a good trade, both to the upside. It will be a good trade to the downside. Don't think that this is something you should invest in. One question, why are we so cool? Well, it looks based on your name that it's because you're sailing all the time. Failed to deliver, what about it? You just said a statement. When does rum squeeze? I kind of don't want it to squeeze. I just want it to slowly but surely grind up, and I want more and more people to realize that it's a good investment. Remember, if it squeezes, it'll come tumbling back down. It's not necessarily like you would want something to squeeze if you're trading it. I'm invested in rum, so it would be fun to watch, but it would be really fun at first and then painful to watch later. So that's not necessarily my hope for rum. My hope for rum is a nice, slow, steady grind higher and higher when people realize that it's objectively the most undervalued AI play in the equities market. Spreads help to mitigate the premium we're paying for volatility. Yeah, if you're doing debit spread. I suppose. Okay, well, like I said, if you have questions on this, either ask it in the Discord or bring your questions to tomorrow's stream. We're going to be posting content later on today and then streaming once again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. bright and early. I hope to see you guys there. Good shit today. We made a lot of money. What was it? $54,000 and counting. So that's sick. I appreciate you guys. You guys, day in and day out, prove why you are the best community on the entire internet. So thank you. I appreciate all the support in the stream. I appreciate all the support in you guys backing me up on Twitter when I get into it with some dum-dums and some half-wits. So to all those of you guys who support me in here, but you also support me publicly elsewhere, I see your names. I appreciate it. I thank you. You guys are the fucking best. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. That's what I have for you today. Content coming later on, streaming once again tomorrow. Other than that, I hope you crush it. Peace.